Hello, candle lovers! Thank you for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg, and this is all Aboot candles. Happy Sunday, everyone. On Sundays, I like to do the weekly wax wrap-up. This is when I go through all of the candles that I have finished burning recently, talk about how they smelled, how they performed, all of that good stuff. A lot of candles to talk about this week. I've got stuff from Bath & Body Works, Village Candle, I've got Goose Creek here, I've got a candle from DW Home. Let's just get right into it. I do mark all of my videos with chapters, so feel free to navigate towards whatever part of this video might be the most interesting to you. After that, we're gonna get into just a little bit of candle company news. Gotta talk about some Bath & Body Works stuff that's happening. Peep. And a bunch of new stuff dropping at Goose Creek. Let's kick things off with Violets Are Blue from Bath and Body Works. I actually really enjoyed the packaging on this candle. I don't know, something about it just really, I really enjoyed looking at the packaging here and this wraparound. I love the blue. I love that it's like detailed, but it's not too busy. I just think it looks really good. We had a cute lid on this candle as well. Really cute. I actually ended up enjoying this a lot more than I think I thought that I was gonna like it when I first hauled this candle. The scent notes on here are blue violet bouquet, sugared berries, and soft musk. Now, one thing that I will say is this candle, the fragrance was just a little bit too sweet for me, but I think there's a good fragrance here. If I could have made an adjustment to this fragrance, I would have toned down that sweetness just a little bit, and I would have incorporated like a really nice, like smooth blueberry note. I think that would have really tied this whole concept together to make it like a fruity floral that's like violets and blueberries. And there's something about the fragrance, that sugared berry note. It comes across to me maybe more like it's almost like a raspberry or something. There's a little bit of a highly pitched kind of granular sugariness to this fragrance that I'm not obsessed with, but it is smoothed out fairly nicely with this musk note and this sort of blue, like watery kind of floral note. I just think it would have been a bit nicer if instead of that super sugary, granular note, there was like kind of a rich and deep blueberry, like a nice smooth blueberry. I think that would have been fantastic. However, as the fragrance is, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit more than I thought I would. And when this candle was burning, it did come across a little bit more smooth than it did when I was smelling it on cold. It definitely opened up a little bit. It does smell like a fragrance that could be used for a Bath & Body Works like body care situation, but I really ended up liking this one. Yeah, I have no real complaints about it, and it also performed pretty decently. Now, at the bottom here, things started to look pretty gross, and that was my fault. And if you watch my channel a lot, you know this is a bad habit of mine. I just let that last burn go off way longer than I thought I should have. You know when the whole candle liquefies and you're kind of like, this is game over now for this candle, but since so much of it has liquefied, it's giving you some good strength and throw, so you might just let that last burn go off for a little bit longer than you really should. That's what happened here, but it was a really clean burn from beginning to end. This candle didn't really dud out on me in a major way. There were definitely some burns after the halfway point that weren't quite as powerful as the first half of the candle, but it never got to be like a really bad situation. I just like wrote it out and the candle ended up doing fine. And yeah, I'd say that the strength and throw on this was, I had it in my bedroom most of the time. I'd say it got up to a 6 in there. You know, it was more than just a little bit noticeable. It definitely had a presence to it. I did burn it in my more open space once or twice. I'd say it was detectable, so I'd give it a 5 in a more open space, a 6 in a bit of a smaller space. Overall, no major complaints about Violets Are Blue, and if I see one on sale over the next couple of weeks, I might actually purchase another one. Yeah, I liked Violets Are Blue. This was a decent one. No big complaints. I might repurchase this. If you smell this in the store and you like the way that it smells, I have no problem recommending it to you because overall I thought it performed pretty nicely. I also finished up First Blooms of Spring from Bath and Body Works. You know, I wasn't that obsessed with this packaging when I first saw it in the store, but it really grew on me, and this candle just looked beautiful when it was burning. Also in this collection, I talked about Blue Orchard Skies last week, and that was a very similar packaging except with butterflies instead of these flowers. Just looked lovely when it was burning. Really, really pretty. There's a lot of nice sort of gold outline and texture detail to this wraparound. Just really, really pretty. The scent notes on First Blooms of Spring are blooming lilies, pink peony petals, and sunny citrus. I like this candle quite a bit, and there is a reason for that. When I was first smelling this on cold when I was hauling it, I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was, but then I burned it a couple of times and I thought to myself, this smells really familiar and I really, really like it. But once again, just couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then one of my subscribers, House of Harlow, shout out to you, buddy. He got into my DMs and he told me that he thinks that this is a repackage of Orange Lily Blossom, which we got in the Tropical collection from Bath and Body Works last summer or last spring, I guess, for the first time. This was the brand new release last summer, and I just fell in love with it. And I was doing a tropical candle haul last week or the week before, and I'm assuming that my buddy watched that and reached out to me to let me know that he thinks that this is a repackage. And indeed, I agree with him. In fact, I'm willing to say that I think it's a total repackage at this point. The scent notes on the First Blooms of Spring say blooming lilies, pink peony petals, and sunny citrus. And the scent notes on Orange Lily Blossom say tiger lily, vibrant sandalwood, and citrus waters. So very similar scent notes. They both have a lily scent note. They both have a citrus scent note. But then this one has a peony note and this one has a sandalwood note. And you know, I never really picked up that much on a woodsiness in here. Maybe just a whisper of like a creamy woodsiness in the Orange Lily Blossom. But yeah, I think that this was a repackage. Oh, this is really nice. I really ended up enjoying this one. I enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed Orange Lily Blossom. It was just really fresh, and it does have a little bit of a lush kind of tropical green vibe to it. As a concept, I think that this fragrance makes a lot more sense as Orange Lily Blossom than it does as the First Blooms of Spring. There's a really lovely, soft, white floral fragrance in here. It's really, really nice. It's a little bit sweet. It's quite soft. It's not powdery. It's got a little bit more of like a watery vibe to it. Just a really, really lovely floral. There is something in there giving it a little touch of like a creaminess, almost in the way that a really, really soft like vanilla bean or a really sort of soft coconut water scent note might do. And then there's also a citrus note in here, but it's not like a really sharp acidic citrusy juice. It's more like the rind of a citrus fruit, like perhaps the rind of like an orange or a bergamot with that, the sort of oils, like the oil of a citrus rind is a citrus note that I pick up on. And it's got a really lovely smoothness to it. Just a touch of a green note, like a lush, almost like tropical leaning greenery note that I really appreciate. I was really, really happy with the way that First Blooms of Spring smelled, and I was also pretty happy with the way that it performed. And I remember being pretty happy with Orange Lily Blossom last summer. I burned this all the way down till there was nothing left in there. Just a little bit of darkness at the end there due to my, last burn messiness. But overall, it was a really nice clean burn from top to bottom. Once again, definitely had some burns after the halfway point that weren't ideal. It wasn't like full blown dudding out itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames, but definitely some burns weren't very powerful, and that really did affect the strength and throw. I'd say that when this candle was roaring, like in my bedroom, it was getting to about a 6, like maybe even a 6.5 in the bedroom. When I had it in my more open space and it was doing really well, I'd say it was about a 5.5, just a little bit better than like having a baseline presence to it. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I wish it had been just a little bit stronger. Like, I would love to put this candle in my more open space and have it get up to like a 6.5 or a 7. That would be ideal for me, but overall, no major complaints. This is gonna be a repurchase for me because I don't think that we're getting orange lily blossom back in the tropical line this year. So if I see this in the store during a sale, I'm definitely gonna pick up another first blooms of spring, and I'm gonna save it to burn in like the height and the heat of the summertime. Yeah, I really like this candle. That was a good one. I also finished up this cherry blossom pound cake. This is one of those candles, I don't know how or why I ended up repurchasing this. I've burned this candle before, and I think I've even done like a full length review out there of cherry blossom pound cake. Maybe it was one of those situations where it was like candle day or something and I like panic bought because I thought I was gonna like it a lot more than I did. I think that the packaging on this collection is cute. This came out in 2023, so this has been hanging in the back of the candle closet for a little while now. I held on to several candles in this collection. I've also got a Main Street Bakery and a Paris Cafe from this collection that are in my like current burn rotation right now. It's a cute label, nothing to write home about. I don't think that this candle came with this lid. I'm pretty sure that I put this lid on there myself, and I wanted to give a little shout out. I wanted to give a little shout out to Lauren. Lauren is from the Instagram account or the YouTube account. Her handle is Candles Make Me Happy, and she commented on one of my videos and she said that when she changes the lids on her candles, she calls it changing hats. I've been changing the hats a lot recently on my candles. I'm just so sick of looking at those plain old metallic like gold and silver lids. So when I'm sort of setting up what my burn rotation is going to be for the next little while, I will go into my stash of lids and I'll find ones that I just think look a little bit better on these candles, and I'll swap them out. I'll change their hats, so to speak. Anyways, the scent notes on cherry blossom pound cake say cherry blossom, whipped pound cake, and vanilla frosting. And I feel like we all kind of felt pretty similarly about this candle when it first came out. Like before any of us smelled it and we heard cherry blossom pound cake, we were all really excited for like a bakery floral, you know, maybe something kind of like pink petal tea cake or something like that, you know, something like kind of floral, but also with like a strong like vanilla bakery component to it. And cherry blossom pound cake was really not like that at all. Like there's scent notes on here of whipped pound cake and vanilla frosting, but I don't really pick up on that. There's definitely a considerable amount of vanilla in here for sure, but for the most part, it's just like a really, really sweet, like cherry blossom note, like that floral cherry blossom note, and a really sweet version of a cherry blossom note with like a smooth vanilla in the base of it, and it's got maybe just a slight touch of a medicinal quality to it that I wasn't obsessed with, you know, like that cherry medicine that you used to take as a kid. It did remind me a little bit of that, and like I said, I wasn't super thrilled with this fragrance the first time that I burned it, so I'm not too sure how I ended up with the second second. But when I was like going through my candle closet and picking it out, I smelled it and I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. Let me burn it again this spring and see if I like it anymore. Well, I can say I don't really think my opinion has changed that much. It's a decent like cherry blossom fragrance, just a little bit too sweet for me. I wish that it took that cherry blossom note and did have like a little bit of like a cakey or a sugar cookie type of vibe. Or if it wasn't gonna have like a bakery component at all, then I wish there was a bit more. I wish that vanilla note in here was a little bit more like a French vanilla, a little bit richer, a little bit deeper, and maybe even a little less sweet. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about this one. I'm still not too sure if I liked this or not. I don't think it's going to be a repurchase for me, and I don't really think it's going to be a recommendation for you either. I don't think it's on the floor right now, but there's just other candles out there that are kind of similar to this that I think are a little bit better. You know, I actually really like that Sweetheart Cherry fragrance. And that's another fragrance that I've warmed up on a little bit because I got that Sweetheart Cherry fragrance in the same packaging, like the same collection as this Violets Are Blue. And I wasn't obsessed with that fragrance the first time that I burned it, but I'm giving it another try now and I'm enjoying it a little bit more. It's funny how fragrances and your preferences can like change on you. You know, I always use this as an example. I used to hate the smell of coconut. I never liked coconut. I didn't like to smell it. I didn't like to eat it. I was really not a coconut person until I was maybe in like my mid to late 30s. I don't know what happens. Like a switch just gets flicked and all of a sudden I love coconut, you know? And now one of the things that I look forward to the most about summertime is like getting out all of my coconut candles and really doing it up with like the coconut in my home fragrance in the summer. So it's interesting how your tastes can change. And I always say I like to reserve the right to change my mind on things, right? I believe that that's called evolving. Okay, I also finished up this rose candle from Bath & Body Works. I mean, this was a bit of an odd one. Was this a Candle Day candle this year? I think so. It came out in 2025. I think we saw this, if not for Candle Day, yes, it was definitely for Candle Day, because it also came out with a lemon candle, which was limoncello, and a lavender candle, which was French lavender, and a vanilla candle, which was vanilla bean. So yeah, we got this one for Candle Day. We got a lot of rose fragrances from Bath & Body Works this spring in candle form. Maybe too many. I mean, there was just a lot of rose happening. There was that aromatherapy, the vanilla rose, the nocturnal rose in the men's line, which I just dropped a review of yesterday if you want to check it out. There was Covered in Roses, which I really enjoyed. There was this regular rose candle, and then I think there was another one too. I don't think that the packaging on this is anything to really write home about. I kind of like how, you know, for a Candle Day release, they're kind of doing a bit of a loose twist on a gingham pattern here on this collection, but it was a pretty boring rectangular wraparound label with just boring plain wax and this kind of like brushed metal lid that they've been giving us a little bit more often recently. I think it looks okay, but nothing spectacular. This is a really straightforward rose fragrance. I honestly found this one a little bit boring, but once again, that might just be because I had been digging my nose into Covered in Roses and Nocturnal Rose and other things that were just a little bit more interesting. The scent notes on this one are airy rose water, jasmine petals, and creamy musk. And this definitely comes across as a fairly perfumey rose to me. That musk note definitely gives it that sort of body care vibe for sure. It's a fairly nice, like fresh and bright rosebud note. Like I like this. I like the fragrance. I think it's It's really nice, but I think it's a little bit boring and maybe just a little bit redundant. There's just a lot of rose fragrances on the floor right now that I think are a little bit nicer than this. It's kind of like a fresh and a dewy rose. It's not like a dry rose note, but it doesn't really have that greenery in there. And the musk does give it, like I said, kind of that body care, kind of perfumey quality. Not a bad fragrance by any means, just nothing really all that interesting either. I thought this candle performed pretty well for the most part, burned it all the way down there. As you can see, this wick nickel up at the top started to drift a fair bit, and so that is when I called it a day. But I mean, that's not bad. I really burned this candle all the way down. It did pretty well for the most part. I would say that in my more open space, it was giving me like a 5. Maybe if I'm generous, a 5.5. I do think that there's something about rose fragrances, the ingredients that are used in like the oils to make a rose candle. It does seem like rose is one of the fragrances that it's easier for the companies to make a rose fragrance project in their products. And so in my more open space, a 5.5 or a 6 is not really bad for a Bath & Body Works candle these days. I put it in the bedroom for a little while. Definitely a solid 6, getting up to a 6.5 in there. So yeah, reasonable strength and throw from this rose fragrance. I'm just noticing now it says Gingham Nation Essentials on here. I guess this collection, like I said, with the lemon, the lavender, the vanilla, the theme was like Gingham Nation Essentials. I would call it Gingham Nation Redundancy. But you know what? It was nice. I love rose fragrances. I get a lot of rose all up in here in the springtime. So it was a really nice one. Just nothing to write home about. I also burned Rosewood and Suede from Bath & Body Works. I'm gonna have to look up the scent notes for this one because something terrible happened, you guys. I had a little bit of a waxident. I had a little bit of a waxident with my Rosewood and Suede candle. I was moving it, I was taking it out of the candle closet, and I just bumped my elbow and dropped it right on the ground and smashed. Like, it was, there was really no way for me to be able to save it. The good news is that I only had about a third of the candle left on there, so I got quite a few really good burns out of it. The problem is that I don't have the candle here to show you and to share it with you, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I really liked this fragrance. I thought it was gorgeous. The scent notes on Rosewood and Suede are velvet rose, smooth vanilla, and glowing embers. This is a fragrance that I was literally just trying to conjure up in my memory when I was talking about all of the rose fragrances that we saw from Bath & Body Works. This was probably my favorite out of all of those rose fragrances. The regular rose, covered in roses, vanilla and rose, nocturnal rose, out of all of them, this Rosewood and Suede was definitely my favorite. I'm just noticing here that like the scent description on the website says, gives that feeling of a sweet, oh so romantic evening spent by the fire. Yeah, I thought this was really lovely. It was a little bit of a deeper, darker, dustier rose. There was definitely a little bit of a woodsy component, a really interesting sort of texture. Usually a rose fragrance has like a softer, like brighter, airier texture to it. This was a bit more of like a darker rose. I don't want to say rough, but there was something about the texture of this fragrance that was really interesting to me. A little bit of a fireplace vibe, especially when it was burning. The rose note in here reminded me a little bit of the rose note in Nocturnal Rose. And so I was pretty happy with this fragrance overall. And I thought that the candle performed really nicely as well. I do have to say that this candle burned like a powerhouse. It had those really thin core 4 wicks on it, and oh my goodness, did this candle burn. I really had to limit the burn times on this to like 2 hours max. I mean, you would look over at it and there would immediately be like a really deep, even wax pool. This candle never dudded out. It never gave me itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. It was the opposite problem. It was always a ripping and a roaring, but it was good because it was projecting as well. I don't mind having to limit my burn times on candles as long as they're gonna give me some good strength and throw. And I have to say that this candle performed really nicely. I'd say it was easily giving me a 6 or even a 6.5 in my more open space. I found it quite noticeable. I mean, obviously, it really does help that you've got big, thick, even wax pools right away. Definitely makes you take more notice of the fragrance when it gets going that quickly. But yeah, I'd say in my more open space, it was like a 6. I did have it in the bedroom for a while, and in the bedroom, I'd say it was giving me a 7 for strength and throw, which is quite a bit. I feel like it's been a moment since I've given a Bath & Body Works 3-wick candle a 7, even in the bedroom. I thought this was really strong. I was really happy with it. I have decided I'm going to repurchase this one for sure. I'm definitely going to get another one next time there's a good candle sale. I've got quite a list actually of repurchases that I want to make. And also this came out in that neutrals line and it just looked so good. And yeah, I just love the look and the feel of those neutrals lines candles. And this one performed like a champ. So definitely going to be a repurchase for me and a recommendation for you. Like I said, that was definitely my favorite out of all of these like rose candles that we got from Bath & Body Works at the beginning of spring. Let's move on. This is super random. When did this come out? This came out in 2023. This is Chasing Fireflies. And this was like a big like single launch fragrance situation. It got all of the body care, the body butters, the perfume, everything. I don't really remember thinking that this fragrance really landed very well with everybody. And look at the really kind of sloppy alignment that they did here on this wraparound label. I really don't think that this fragrance hit the way Bath & Body Works were hoping it would. It didn't really feel to me like it was taking off. I remember seeing a lot of Chasing Fireflies hanging around at semi-annual sale. I thought that it was okay. The scent notes on here are golden pear, jasmine blooms, and illuminated woods. Now this is a very, very, very quintessential like musky body care fragrance. I actually think it's kind of nuts that there's no musk listed in these scent notes. It's so powdery. It's also got a really, really, really powdery vibe to it. I mean, probably one of the most powdery candles that I've burned from Bath & Body Works in the last couple of years. It's definitely got those floral components to it. It's kind of like a soft and bright floral, kind of like a soft, bright white floral with a little bit of sweetness also coming from that pear note. I'd say that this is a little bit more floral than it is fruity, but all of that is overwhelmed just a little bit by just the amount of like powdery musk that I'm getting from it, which really, really makes it come across like a body care fragrance, and probably a body care fragrance that would appeal more to a more mature woman than a younger one. Yeah, I didn't mind it though. I actually really didn't mind it. I don't have a problem at all with like an old lady perfumey situation once in a while. And I actually thought this made for a really lovely bedroom candle. It was a little bit kind of pillowy and soft, and I kept it in my bedroom most of the time. And I thought that it performed all right. I burned it all the way down till there was nothing left there. A little bit of discoloration happening just at the very end. I don't think that this ever gave me any issues with like dudding out or itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. No sooting or anything. Or actually, we've got a little bit of a mark here. Yeah. See that? looks like this candle was sitting up on me a little bit more than I thought. We do have a little bit of markings around the top of that jar there. So maybe the burn wasn't as clean as I thought it was when I was burning it, but it wasn't bad by any means. Might have happened just at the end there. Like I said, the way I kind of let the last like inch of a candle go off sometimes, you can actually see the rings around the bottom of the jar there from when it started to get a little bit dirtier, and I probably should have just called it a day. I'd say that the strength and throw on this one in my bedroom was a 6. Pretty straightforward. I feel like most of the burns were probably a 6. It was fairly consistent. I don't think we're gonna see this fragrance back again. I don't think I liked it enough to like care that much that it's probably not coming back, and I don't really think that I would repurchase it or even recommend it. I think there's other candles and fragrances on the floor at Bath and Body Works right now that are kind of similar but done a little bit more nicely than that. I also finished off this Village candle. I loved this. I actually ended up really loving this. This is Fresh Cut Peony, and I really burned through this candle. I think I just got this like a month ago or something. I had it posted in like a big random candle haul about a month ago, and I was pretty eager to get into it. I think it's a really lovely peony note. Yeah, Fresh Cut Peony. Oh, this was nice. It wasn't super perfumey. This comes across as a lot more of like a natural kind of succulent floral vibe to me. I'm gonna get the website notes. I'm gonna get the notes off of the website here. Village Candle, Fresh Cut Peony. The top notes are Sakura Blossom, White Peony, and Asian Pears. The middle notes are Rose, Mimosa Petals, Jasmine, and Fuji Apples. And the base notes are Leafy Greens, fresh lemongrass, and white musk. There is a little bit of a musk in there for sure. I mean, I could edit these scent notes down to probably just 4 things. Sakura Blossoms for sure. Peony for sure. Asian Pear, I never really picked up on much of like a sweet fruity stone fruit situation. Rose, yeah, I think there's a bit of a rosy component in there. But Mimosa Petals, Jasmine, Fuji Apple, never really picked up on that stuff. Leafy Greens I picked up on. Fresh Lemongrass, no. And lemongrass is like a fairly noticeable, like detectable fragrance for me. I never picked up on the lemongrass, but there is definitely like a musky floral component to the base of this. I'd say that as far as the floral goes, this is mostly peony and cherry blossom with a little bit of a rose note as well. I think it's really, really nice. There's a little bit of a greenness and definitely, like I said, some musk in the base of it. Really, really lovely. It's a fairly like straightforward floral, and when I was sniffing it on cold, I liked it a lot, but I really think that this opened up nicely when it was burning. I really, really loved burning this candle, and there were moments where I would pick out some of those florals a little bit more than others. Like sometimes when I burned it, I felt like I was really picking up on the cherry blossom the most. Sometimes when I was burning it, it was the rose that was really coming forward, and sometimes it was like kind of that pink peony vibe. But there was like a constant presence of a little bit of greenery and a little bit of muskiness without it sort of becoming a super perfumey, mature woman's perfume kind of vibe. It never really went there. It was always very natural smelling and bright and fresh and a little bit dewy. I really loved it. This is like the 2 wick Village candle format, the really big 2 wick Village candle. It's 21.25 ounces, and these candles burn for up to 170 hours, and so this might be a record for the fastest that I have ever gone through a Village candle. I think I polished this one off in 3 weeks. I was getting a lot of work done when I was burning this candle because I kept it in a smaller space. I kept it in this room in my office like the entire time that I was burning it, and I've been working on this report for work. Oh my God, like this magnum opus of a report that I have due at the end of fiscal. And look at me getting my work done quite a little bit ahead of time here. And so I've probably spent, like, no joke, probably 60 to 70 hours working on this report in my office, like really trying to concentrate, like no music, no distractions, no nothing. It's been a really big thing for the last couple of months. And I was just burning this candle the entire time that I was working on this report. And then, like, last week, I finished the work and the report's done, like signed, sealed, delivered a little bit ahead of time. Thank you very much. But then I still had a little, about this much left on the candle. And the last like 5 times that I lit it, it was like triggering me, like at my desk, like just constant, my eyes getting sore, me getting tired, my neck getting stiff, this report getting written. Like I almost found it a little bit more difficult to enjoy the last little bit of this candle because the scent memory had been made, and every time I lit this candle, it felt like I should be like still working and writing on this report. But no, I really enjoyed it. It kept me company for a very long time. I'd say that this is a bit more of a medium, more enclosed space. I don't burn a lot of candles in here because there's just one little small window that I don't open very often. I'd say that this was about a 6 in here, and so that's pretty good for a village candle. However, I did burn it in my more open space where it was getting a little bit more lost out there. I'd say that in my more open space, I don't even think I can quite give it a 5. I would say that it was probably about a 4.5 because I couldn't walk into the area and really detect it. I had to be standing, you know, several paces away from wherever it was burning to be able to smell it. But in a little bit more of a smaller enclosed space, and I did have it in a hurricane, like on the table as well, in a bit of a smaller and more enclosed space, it was definitely getting up to a 6. And so, you know, you kind of just have to manage your expectations and figure out what works best for certain candles and certain fragrances. And man, this candle just really kept me company during a very like concentrated amount of time. And whenever I think about this dang report, I'm always gonna look back and be like, oh, fresh cut peony from Village Candle really helped me get through that time. All right, moving on here. I also finished up Summer Sunflowers from Goose Creek. Really pretty, like bright yellow label on this one. I think overall it's okay. Goose Creek does have some quality control issues sometimes. Like it's a little bit of a crooked wraparound with a very, very obvious like seam on there, which kind of kills the illusion, I think. The illusion that a wraparound label is kind of supposed to provide. And when you have this lid on it, you really notice the crookedness a little bit more. In fact, I can't even, yeah, it's definitely both the label and the way that the lid sits on it that's a little bit crooked and off center there, but man, whatever, who cares. The scent notes on Summer Sunflowers are Summer Sunflowers, Bright Apricot, and Golden Sun Rays. This wasn't what I expected, although I liked it. This is an apricot candle. And so, you know, it's good that apricot is there in the scent notes because, yeah, this is just a fairly straightforward, very pure and quite sweet apricot fragrance. And it's not even kind of like, it's not even sort of this more like generalized, like watery stone fruit. No, this is very, very specifically a considerably sweet apricot. And so it wasn't really what I was expecting. I was hoping for a little bit more of a floral vibe, like a bright, sunny floral vibe. I was kind of thinking to myself, maybe it's a little bit like sunshine and daffodils, from Bath and Body Works. Oh, I love Sunshine and Daffodils from Bath and Body Works, and we have not got that candle back for a hot minute. I'm gonna have to write a strongly worded letter to Bath and Body Works. They have stopped making so many fragrances that I love over the last couple of years. But anyways, I was kind of expecting something a little bit more like that. And this is really, to me, this was just an apricot candle. I mean, the scent notes, summer sunflowers, bright apricot, and golden sun rays. I really can't say I'm picking up on anything other than that sweet apricot note. There's nothing in here really giving me that warmth, you know? Sometimes I think that sunlit sort of fragrance, sometimes I think a bit of an apple note will provide that kind of sunny feeling. We're not really getting that in here. I'm definitely not picking up on very much of a floral vibe either. All I'm picking up on is a pretty sweet apricot note. That being said, I didn't dislike it. You know, I actually enjoyed it. I didn't feel as duped by this as I felt by that fig basket that turned out to be like a garden tomato candle. More on that next week, because I'm almost finished burning that garden tomato, aka fig basket candle. Anyways, summer sunflowers was nice, but it was just a straightforward sweet apricot note. What saves this for me is that it's not like a sugary apricot note. It comes across as being very naturally sweet and fruity, and yeah, it was a good burn. I mean, I burned this all the way down to the bottom there. That wax still looks really, really nice and clean. I do limit my Goose Creek 3 wick candles to a 2-hour burn time. I mean, if I forget and it's like 2.5 hours, I usually regret it. I find that often if you let a Goose Creek candle like this burn for longer than 2 hours, it's likely that you're gonna end up with problems. But look at how clean the end of that wax was there, and no soot marks or anything. I was really happy with how this burned. It never dudded out. It never gave me itty bitty wicks or teeny tiny flames. And the strength and throw, whew, this was a good one. I'd say in my more open space, this was easily like a 7.5, at least a 7 or a 7.5, like very, very noticeable. And it was seeping into other areas of my space. Like it was good for strength and for throw. I never put this in the bedroom because I think it would have just been a little bit too like concentrated and sweet for me in a smaller space like a bedroom. No way would this go in a bathroom either. It would just be way too much. So yeah, I was really, really happy with the strength and throw and the overall performance of Summer Sunflowers. I don't think I'm gonna repurchase this. Fruity candles aren't really my big vibe, but I will say that as far as a fruit fragrance goes from Goose Creek, this is a pretty good one. I don't normally associate Goose Creek with having fantastic fruity fragrances. This one was nice though, and good strength and throw, good performer. Yeah, I was happy with that Summer Sunflowers. I just wish that there had been a little bit more of a sunny or like a floral component in there. Not particularly well balanced, just a lot of that like sweet apricot note. From that same collection, I also finished off Country Cotton. And I was really, really into the packaging on this. I just love this shade of blue. It looked really, really pretty when it was burning. It's sort of giving us kind of seasonal White Barn Core Bath and Body Works vibes with this label on the front. Like White Barn, like label. They used to do a label just like that like several years ago, I feel like. But it was really, really lovely. And on this one, they managed to get a much straighter lineup on the wraparound label and a slightly less noticeable seam on there as well. A much better job with the quality control on the packaging on this Country Cotton as compared to this Summer Sunflowers from the same collection, which was just so wonky doodle. Anyways, I was nervous about Country Cotton because the last couple of fragrances that I've burned from Goose Creek that were sort of similar to this did not go well for me. Most specifically, that Soft Linen Breeze candle. Oof, that candle just got so dirty and it was so sharp and so laundry-ish. I really couldn't stand that one. And also, I burned their baby powder candle a while back. Same thing with that, just way too sharp and unbalanced and a dirty burn. So I was a little bit nervous about Country Cotton. But it was a brand new fragrance, so I wanted to give it a go. The scent notes on it are Cotton Blossoms, White Jasmine, Lily of the Valley, and Sun-Bleached Woods. Now, the easiest thing for me to compare this to that you might be familiar with is Sun-Drenched Linen from Bath & Body Works. This is very, very similar to Sun-Drenched Linen from BBW. I think that Sun-Drenched Linen has an apple note in it, and this doesn't have an apple note. And I don't really pick up on any apple either when I'm smelling it. Cotton Blossoms, White Jasmine, Lily of the Valley, and Sun-Bleached Woods. I think that I pick up a little bit on just a sort of generic white floral. I don't know that I would even necessarily pick out that it was jasmine or lily. It just comes across as a little bit of a generic, like soft white floral that's fairly stern, not too sweet, like a stern but soft, like a handsome white floral. And but mostly this is like that sort of cotton blossom note. Like this is very, very much a laundry vibe. Yeah, a lot like Sun-Drenched Linen, like definitely evokes, the clothesline out in the meadow with all your freshly laundered t-shirts hanging up. Like it really comes across like that to me. It was nice. And this candle, it performed pretty well also. I burned it all the way down here. A little bit more dirtiness towards the end on this one for sure. I'd say that the last third of it, things started to get a little bit swirly and murky, even with me really limiting my burn times. But whew, this was a strong one as well. I'd say this was easily a 7.5 in my more open space. And it was very sharp. It was like a very, very sharp, just like laundry situation. But it did also have kind of an airy, like freshness to it that I also appreciated. Overall, I liked it. I don't think that I would repurchase it. If you like sunny laundry care fragrances, I would definitely recommend this though, because man, it was pretty strong. Like I said, easily a 7.5 in my more open space. The scent really traveled. Never put this in the bedroom or the bathroom because it would have just been a little bit too much of a laundromat, I think, if I had put it in any smaller of a space. But yeah, overall, not bad. I'm not obsessed, but it wasn't bad. And I think a lot of people would really like this candle. And I was very relieved not to have a repeat experience of that soft linen breeze that I burned a while back from Goose Creek. Also from Goose Creek, oh my goodness, I love this one. This is Warm and Welcome. And I burned this candle before. Really, really lovely sort of scenic wraparound on here. Yes, I've burned this candle before and I loved the fragrance, but I wasn't super impressed with the way that the candle performed. The strength and throw was like okay, but the candle didn't burn great. It's definitely a little bit of a dirtier burn, and I think that it even dudded out a little bit the last time I burned it. There was a little bit of a dud out situation, which is pretty rare for a Goose Creek candle, but I loved the fragrance so much that I said I'm gonna get myself another one, but next time I'm just gonna melt it. I'm not even gonna try burning it, I'm just gonna melt it. And so that's what I did with this. I melted this under the candle lamp for over a week in my bedroom, and oh my goodness gracious me, I loved it. The scent notes on here are vanilla cashmere, marshmallow cream, white mocha, and warm amber. I think that the scent scent notes on here are a little bit misleading. I think that those scent notes might lead you to believe that this is gonna be a sweeter and a more sugary fragrance than it actually is. Like white mocha, maybe there's just a teeny little bit of a whisper of something kind of dark chocolatey. There's definitely not like a full-blown chocolate vibe in here at all, but maybe like an actual sort of like cocoa bean situation. Vanilla cashmere for sure, and warm amber. I would really get rid of that marshmallow cream note in here. Like it doesn't come across as a marshmallowy fragrance at all. A really, really, really smooth vanilla cashmere candle with a considerable amount of amber in the base of it. A really, really warm, lovely amber. And I think that this candle came across quite a bit differently melting it as compared to burning it. I think that this fragrance, if anybody's interested in this fragrance, I would really recommend giving it a melt instead of giving it a burn, because it made a world of difference to me. This candle, when it was being warmed, it was so rich and so soft and so deep, and there was something about it that just smelled very like luxe and sort of enveloping and warm. Just absolutely lovely. And when I was burning it, I wasn't getting that same experience. I was getting a little bit more of like a sharper situation, and also the strength and throw wasn't as good when I was burning it as it was when I was melting it. I would usually melt this for a very, very long periods of time. Sometimes when I have a candle under the candle lamp in my bedroom, I'll just leave it on for like 24 hours for a couple of days. I might turn it off once or twice so that it can solidify and then start projecting a little bit more the next time that you start melting it. But I was so into this fragrance. I had it melting in my bedroom like 24/7 for a little while, and I enjoyed it so much. It was lovely. I'd say in my bedroom, under the candle lamp, this was easily getting up to like a 7 for strength and throw, especially for like those first couple of melts, definitely getting up to a 7. And then I would do like the freeze and flip, I'll put it in my freezer for a little while so that the wax shrinks, and then I'll pop the wax out and I'll put it back in upside down so I can melt it from the bottom down, but from the top up. Does that make any sense? So I did the old freeze and flip on it, which gave new life to it under the candle lamp for sure. I just loved it. Good strength and throw, lovely fragrance. This is absolutely going to be a repurchase for me and a recommendation for you. Recommendation though, with an asterisk, like I would really recommend just melting this one instead of burning it. I don't know, maybe other iterations of Warm and Welcome have done a little bit better when burning than this one did. But I purchased 2 of this particular version, and it was a very different experience melting it as opposed to burning it. It was much, much better melting it. Also from Goose Creek, I finished off a wax melt. This is Buttercream Sprinkles. I feel like I've talked about this fragrance a lot recently, so I'm not going to get too much into it right now. I just melt my wax melts in like a 3-wick vessel under a candle lamp. This one's really looking rough. I don't know what. I was trying to get the wax out of here, and it wasn't working, so I'm going to have to like pop this back into the freezer to see if I can get this wax out. But yeah, I zapped most of the fragrance out of there. The scent notes on Buttercream Sprinkles are warm buttercream, vanilla sprinkles, and sugarcane. This fragrance gets repackaged by Goose Creek quite a bit. I feel like in the wintertime, around Christmas time, it comes out as white Christmas cake. This is a very, very deep, very, very rich, like buttercream, vanilla, gourmand fragrance. It's very low in the register. It's very, I'd say it's very much like a deep, rich French vanilla fragrance. It's good. It's very, very rich though. I even think that some like vanilla gourmand lovers might even find this just a little bit too like deep and rich for them, but I really like it. I think it's a good one. And I've burned this candle several times in different iterations and it always does pretty well. The wax melt did pretty well also, although I don't think I was getting as much strength and throw out of the wax melt as I do from like burning the actual candle. I had this under the candle lamp in my kitchen, and I would say it probably maxed out in there at about a 6 or a 6.5. Most Goose Creek wax melts that I melt in my kitchen get up to like a 7, 7.5, or an 8. So this one did come across as a little bit weaker to me, but still like completely, totally acceptable. It was nice, yeah. I enjoyed it. I also finished up this Dahlia Star from DW Home, a little winner's find here. I believe I picked this up on clearance, and it was only like $7, $8, $9, probably somewhere around there. I do think that the packaging on this is really, really lovely though, with this sort of ombre color and a really cute lid that looks kind of like the sun and the moon. Pretty cute, actually. Nice packaging on here. This, it says burn time, 56 hours. Looks like it's probably about a 15 or 16 ounce. It was 2 wicks. As you can see, quite a bit of dirtiness happening in there. I know that DW Home candles are pretty much a joke for most of us, and I do think that most of their candles are a joke, but I do have luck with their candles that come in this format. For whatever reason, this format that they do, like their larger 2-wick candles, seems to be the format that they put their better fragrances in, and also the format that you might actually have some hope of getting some decent strength and throw out of. So every now and then, if I see a candle like this in a Winners or a Marshalls or a Home Sense, I might pick it up and give it a go. I thought the fragrance was okay. I do have the scent notes here that I got up off of the website. There's a little scent description that says, an accord of smoked rose and fragrant oud, infused with crushed vetiver accents, ambered leather, and warm patchouli, with whispers of black dahlia. Holy smokes, that is a lot of scent notes for what is really just a fruity floral. It smells like it could be body care from Bath and Body Works. So that's smoked rose, oud, vetiver, amber, leather, patchouli, and black dahlia. I call BS on those scent notes. This candle comes across as a lot more lighter and fruitier than those scent notes would lead you to believe. I'm definitely picking up on the rose and the dahlia for sure, and a little bit of amber. I'm not picking up on oud, I'm not picking up on vetiver, not picking up on leather or patchouli whatsoever. And I think that there might be a little bit of a nondescript berry note in here. This really comes across as like a fruity floral that you might find at Bath and Body Works. Yeah, and the first half of this candle burned quite nicely. The strength and throw wasn't great. It was pretty lost in my more open space. I had to be standing very close to it to be able to smell it. I'd give it like a 2 or a 3 for strength and throw in my more open space. In a hurricane in the bedroom, I'd say it was getting up to about a 4. When I was maybe a 4.5, like I couldn't walk in there and really sort of have it hit me with like a baseline presence. But if I was moving around my bedroom while this was burning in a hurricane, I'd definitely like catch some whispers of it once in a while. The first half of it burned really nicely. And then the whole second half of this candle became an outside burn. It looked really, really pretty when I was burning it outside. It looked absolutely gorgeous, but it was just too dirty of a burn for me to have in the house. The first half was fine. No soot, no messiness, no nothing. Then the last half of it, like as soon as there was a wax pool, as soon as it pooled out, it started getting pretty dirty. And I was like, honestly, pretty annoyed by that. So I burned the last half of this candle outside and just liked how pretty it looked. I mean, look at that. Ugh, not good at all. Really, really not good, DW Home. I don't know why. Even if I find these on like a clearance sale price, I don't know why I keep coming back to them, but I do. The reason why is probably because I have had some good luck with DW Home candles that come in this format. Right now, I am burning Tonka and Vanilla from DW Home, same size, 2 wicks, and it's doing really well. I'm actually really, really enjoying it. And so you just never know, you just never know. I like a lot of variety. I like to try things. So, hey, I gave it a try. All right, that's all I have for candles this week. Let's quickly get into a little bit of candle company news. Now, I should say I'm filming this on Saturday. I had to film my videos this weekend a little bit ahead of time. So it's actually Saturday today, and a lot can happen in Bath and Body Works news over a weekend. So if you're watching this on Sunday or afterwards and the timelines of things are not adding up, that's why. I'm recording a day early today. So Peepin It Real. Peepin It Real is the Peeps collaboration that we are expecting from Bath and Body Works. Bath and Body Works now has a whole bunch of promo out for it. We're looking at a lot of pictures of the different products and the body care and everything. I believe that today, on Sunday, is when it's dropping online, and it's going to be in the stores tomorrow on Monday. The scent notes on it are fluffy marshmallows, sugar crystal, and whipped vanilla. I feel like I can already smell this fragrance without smelling it. I feel like we all know exactly what this fragrance is going to smell like, and I'm honestly just not all that intrigued. Now, my question is, are we getting a 3-wick? Because in all of the leaks that I've seen and all of the promo pictures that Bath and Body Works has put up, I'm not seeing any 3-wicks at all. But then I was commenting on, you guys know Chris from This Guy Shops. He's got a great channel and he's a big Bath and Body Works fan, and he was posting about the Peeps collaboration, and I commented in one of his videos saying, oh, it's too bad it doesn't look like we're getting a 3-wick candle. And he messaged me back and he said, oh, I think that we are, because aren't they putting out a 3-wick candle holder? And I was like, oh, I haven't seen pictures of the 3-wick candle holder either. So who knows? Like, if there is no 3-wick candle, I don't think I'll be buying this fragrance at all. If there is a 3-wick candle, I don't think I'm going to be able to resist giving it at least one shot. So we will see. I've seen lots of pictures of the body care and I've seen lots of pictures of the single wick. I just don't know if we're getting that 3-wick or not. By the time you're watching this, it's probably, all come to light. So only time will tell. I'm not super excited about that fragrance, but for the sake of the channel, if it comes out in a 3-wick, I'm gonna have to get one to try it. Those layered candles are out now in the States. As of today, on Saturday, technically, we haven't seen them here in Canada. Although I haven't been into the store, I think that I would have heard if these layered candles were popping up in Canada. They're also not on the Canadian website as of today, so this might just be something that we're not gonna get. Honestly, I'm not that heartbroken about it. A layered wax candle, I think it's cute. I think it's neat. I think it's nice that they're doing something a little bit more interesting than just putting a fancy lid on some candles. I like that they're mixing it up a little bit, but simply the fact that it's like layered colored wax isn't like an ooh and an ah like sales point for me. The real problem for me are the fragrances that we're getting. I don't like A Day at the Cafe. I really don't. I find it way, way, way too sweet. The scent notes on A Day at the Cafe are rich cold brew coffee, frothed milk, and sweet caramel syrup blended with ice. I just remember thinking there was way too much of that really sweet caramel note in this fragrance and not enough coffee. And the caramel note in here, if my memory serves me correctly, just from smelling it in the store like a while ago, it was kind of that really sweet sticky caramel note that you get in a candle like caramel drizzle. Just not my favorite. So I definitely don't even think I would purchase the Day at the Cafe candle, even if they had come out at this point in Canada. I know a lot of people in the States have picked them up and they're posting their hauls and they're really happy with them and so I am happy for that, but these fragrances are just not my fragrances. The other one is Sweet Shop, and the scent notes on that are strawberry taffy, cotton candy, and sugared lemon drops. Like, no thanks. And so even if these fragrances do pop up, I would love to go into the store and to see them and to check them out. But even for the channel, I'm really not sure that I would pick up either of these candles if and when we get them here. I'm much more likely to pick up the Peepin It Real fluffy marshmallow, sugar crystal, and whipped vanilla. I'm much more likely to pick that one up than I am either of these. I mean, there's a chance that I could smell that strawberry taffy, cotton candy, and sugared lemon drops. I guess there's a small chance that I could smell that and decide to give one a try, but I really doubt it. Yeah, not too impressed, honestly, over here. Not too thrilled about these layered candles. And so at least the good news there is that it's not gonna really break my heart if we never end up seeing them up here in Canada. What I am actually more excited about are these new White Barn core candles, you guys. The cheese stands alone. I am sure that I am fairly alone in this opinion, but I'm actually really excited for these new White Barn core candles. I want to give a shout out to Bath and Body Bro on Instagram. He's a buddy, and every once in a while, he's always got the tea. He's always spilling the tea. He's always got the news. If you don't follow Bath and Body Bro on Instagram, I highly suggest you do. Oftentimes, I will shoot him a message and be like, can I use this picture in my video tomorrow? And he always says yes, and we always have a pleasant like back and forth combo. So if you guys like to follow BBW accounts on Instagram, definitely check out Bath and Body Bro. He says that his friend told him that this violet and musk candle, he says that his friend told him that that was very similar to If You Musk. And so he thinks it might be a repackage of white iris and cedarwood, which isn't the greatest news. That white iris and cedarwood candle, I actually liked the fragrance, but even in the store, it smelled tremendously weak. And then all the reports started coming in saying that it was one of the weakest candles that they had ever burned from Bath and Body Works. So it will be interesting to see if this violet and musk candle is a repackage of iris and cedarwood, which apparently is very similar to If You Musk. It's been a while since I've gone into Bath and Body Works and just really spent some time smelling all of the body care and stuff like that. I usually only really pay attention to the candles. But anyways, so we've got iced lemon pound cake in this collection that I really like. That violet and musk candle, which might be new. And then pink lilac and vanilla and Palo Santo. I love, these might be two of my favorite fragrances, maybe in like, maybe top 20 fragrances for me, pink lilac and vanilla and Palo Santo. The pink lilac and vanilla, what I'm most excited about is just the fact that this is nice, kind of more simple, like standard White Barn packaging, because I love that fragrance so much. But the last couple of times that this candle has come out, the packaging has been horrifying. And it all came to a peak last year when it came out in packaging that looked like this. Oh my goodness. I honestly think that is the ugliest packaging that we have ever seen pink lilac and vanilla come out in. And even though I was running really low on this candle, I think I only have one backup in my candle closet, I just did not buy that based off of a boycott principle. Like, that packaging was just so ugly I couldn't. And then the year before this ugly packaging, it came out in like a floral design for Mother's Day that just had a big text box that said, "I love you, Mom." That packaging wasn't quite as bad as last year's, but I still just don't love text messages on candles. I don't love glitter speak on candles and home decor and body care and hand soaps. I just don't. Like, every time I would light it and burn it, I would think to myself, should I call my mom? Hey, I see my mom every single week. So I don't know. That Pink Lilac and Vanilla has just come out in packaging I could not get behind for such a long time now. I'm so excited to see it in just this simple, like pink white barn design. No joke, guys, I'm probably gonna get 10 of these candles at least. Same thing with Palo Santo, just a really nice, simple white barn design. The last time this came out, I think it was on Candle Day with like ugly colored wax and an ugly rectangular label. So to just get a nice, like crisp, clean, sort of muted looking version of Palo Santo, I think will be really nice. I honestly will probably pick up one iced lemon pound cake. I'm gonna pick up violet and musk to give it a try. Probably gonna buy 10 pink lilac and vanillas, and probably gonna buy about 5 Palo Santos. Laundry Day and mahogany teakwood, whatever, who cares? I don't mind either of those fragrances, but I'm not that excited for them. I'm just so happy to see pink lilac and vanilla coming out in some packaging that doesn't make me want to bomb. Another thing that I was wondering when I was thinking about how that Peepin It Real, we're seeing pictures of the single wick candle, but we're not seeing pictures of a 3-wick candle yet. I was in the store not too long ago and realized it doesn't seem like they're putting out single wick candle holders anymore. Am I wrong? Or is it just the stores that I'm going to? But has Bath and Body Works stopped making their single wick candle holders? I think that's kind of a bummer if they have. Because I have a couple of those single wick candle holders and I actually really like them. And the single wick candle holders from BBW can be used for lots of different types of candles because that format and that shape is fairly standard for like a single wick 8-ounce candle. Like whether you're getting some of those like more bougie, high-end fragrances in like smaller single wick format, or if you're buying single wicks from a place like Goose Creek, they would all fit into those Bath and Body Works single wick candle holders nicely. And I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen them put out some new single wick candle holders. So I'm just putting it out there to you guys. Like, what's going on? What's going on with that? Are we not getting single wick candle holders from BBW anymore? Also, over on the Goose Creek website, we have had quite a bit happening lately. Let me just pull them up here. Quite a few new collections coming out, and Goose Creek always like keeps things pretty interesting with a lot of stuff coming out. But for the last month or so, it's really been a bit of a deluge. We finally got an Easter collection. The candles in that collection look like this. There's a couple new fragrances, none of which really appeal to me. This one here is Cottontail Clouds. I'm not super eager to get my hands on that because I don't think it's going to be that much different from this country cotton that I was just talking about today. The scent notes on Cottontail Clouds are cotton flower, wild lily, and creamy sandalwood. The other new fragrance is sparkling orange mimosa, hard stop, no thanks. The other new fragrance is meadow wildflowers, which is meadow blooms, freesia petals, and sweet jasmine. I've got enough sort of basic florals happening already this spring in the candle closet. I don't need to add another one. However, I have placed an order, and one of the candles I will be getting is this blushing lilac and vanilla. We've got all these animals here. We've got ducks, we've got dogs on the other candle, we've got a deer. I always say Goose Creek has a little bit of an odd like animal fetish. I feel like every single season they put out at least one, usually 2 collections that have like woodland creatures and like animals on them. Anyways, blushing lilac and vanilla, blushing lilac petals, vanilla flower, and bouquet greens, bouquet greens. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's not a new fragrance, but it will be new to me. One of the other new fragrances is Snuggles and Sunshine with a little lamb on it. Honeyed mimosa, vanilla amber, and creamy jasmine. I passed on that one. I did pick up a vanilla cloud with this little chick that has just hatched out of its egg. I did pick up a Vanilla Cloud. I love Vanilla Cloud. I burned that for the first time last year. Really enjoyed it. Lovely vanilla fragrance with decent strength and throw. The scent notes on that are fluffy marshmallows, vanilla, sugar, and sweet cloud bread. Then we've got this other collection of Easter gourmand fragrances that I completely passed on. Did not order any of these. One of them is a lemon lush bar with bright lemon, sweet cream, and airy meringue. We've got peach sugar wafer, peach cobbler, bunny bake shop, blueberry bunny cream. I don't know. Something about that just sounds weird. Blueberry bunny cream, carrot cake. Nothing to me can compare to sweet carrot cake from Bath and Body Works. So yeah, that whole collection is a hard pass for me, but we also got some tropical stuff from Goose Creek, and this is what I am really excited about, you guys, because I've talked a couple of times on this channel so far this year about how disappointing the tropical situation at Bath and Body Works is looking to me. I am so not impressed. I love tropical candles. Bath and Body Works is just giving us so much fruity, sugary, highly pitched stuff, and all the regulars, Waikiki Beach Coconut, Pink Pineapple Sunrise. So in the summertime, for the last couple of years, I've really come to rely on Goose Creek to give me the tropical fragrances that I love and I need in my life. The one I'm most excited about is probably Dewy Rainforest. I love the packaging on these. Kind of giving you that tropidelic vibe from BBW a couple years back. Dewy Rainforest is rainforest canopy, sunlit oak moss, and fresh citrus. I'll be very surprised if I don't like that. I also ordered a jungle palm trees. I really like this one. Jungle palm leaves, sweet bamboo, and dewy apple. And I also ordered another one of the new fragrances from them, Oasis Fern, jungle fern, green leaves, and hyacinth. Now we're talking, people. Give me those lush, green, juicy, humid, tropical candles, please. Jungle fern and green leaves. That sounds so good. Also in that collection, we have some returning stuff. Hibiscus orchid, papaya leaf and bamboo, volcanic sunrise, and whitewater springs. I didn't order any of those ones, not because they're bad fragrances, just because I still have some in my collection from like last year and the year before. We also have this sort of airy, cloudy looking collection. I think these candles look really pretty, but I'm not obsessed with the fragrances, so I didn't order any of these ones. There's sugar cookie dough, peanut butter sugar, warm donut sugar, marshmallows, and marshmallow sugar. I actually do really like the marshmallows, like the plain marshmallows fragrance from Goose Creek, but I didn't need any of those. And I did finally, I've been wanting to order some of these, the collection's called Passport to Japan, I think. I have been wanting to order some of these candles for a while now. I was just waiting for there to be more stuff on the website that I wanted before I placed an order, because they've started charging us duties and imports and tariff fees again. I was talking about this in the comment sections to a couple of you guys the last couple of days. I think that I don't know what's happening with, I don't even want to say his name. Let's not even get into it. But I think there's a whole new tariff situation happening right now. And so the duty and import fees for 9 candles ended up being about $9, which I guess kind of keeps in line with this whole 10% tariff situation that's happening. So yeah, to all my Canadians out there, we've got the duty and import fees back, but they're not nearly as bad as they were like at the beginning of 2025. So fingers crossed they don't get a lot worse. Anyways, whatever, who cares? This new collection, this Japanese collection, Bamboo Grove, I really think I'm gonna like that. The scent notes are juicy apple, watery pear, and green bamboo. The Coastal Umi, I definitely want to get that one. that's in my order. Coastal Sea Spray, Shiso Blossom, and Ocean Driftwood. Kyoto Tea House, that's a pass for me. Hinoki Forest I did order. That one has Sugared Woods, Hinoki Cypress, and Woodland Ambers. And the other one that I ordered is Mount Fuji Mist. And the scent notes on that are Cool Mountain Mist, Juniper Berry, and Worn Cedarwood. Very excited for all of those candles to arrive. I ended up ordering like 3 candles from those collections that I like. So yeah, I'm excited. And hopefully they will be here. If all goes according to plan and the weather doesn't get that much worse up here, they should be arriving at my place on Thursday or Friday. So hopefully I'll have a big Goose Creek candle haul posted here on Saturday for you folks. I think that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm in a little bit of a rush. Like I said, I'm pre-recording this today. Tomorrow, the boyfriend and I are going to Banff and spending our Sunday together there. I wanted to give a shout out to Lauren. I'm gonna start saying that all my candles, when I change the lids on my candles, I'm gonna call it changing hats from now on. I also wanted to give a shout out to my subscriber Sierra. Sierra reached out to me with a really, really lovely email the other day, and we've just been emailing back and forth ever since, and she just seems like an absolutely lovely person, and I so appreciate you watching my channel, Sierra, and thank you so much for the lovely emails. You're such a sweetheart. That's all I've got for you folks today. I still haven't caught up on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, so that's gonna have to wait. Hopefully I'll catch up on that and be able to do a full-blown recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills next week. I didn't get any burning questions this week. If you have a burning question for me, you can email it to allabootcandles@gmail.com. If you guys could like this video, subscribe to my channel, give me some of those hype points, I would really, really, really appreciate that. I love you for watching today, and until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye now.